Imagine being told to build something so massive that it would still be standing more than 4,500 years later, without cranes, trucks, or modern machines. It sounds impossible. Yet the ancient Egyptians did exactly that. They built the pyramids, monuments so precise and enormous that they still dominate the desert today, and they did it using only human labor, simple tools, and one of the most organized civilizations in history. But the real mystery isn't just how they moved the stones. It's how an entire society functioned well enough to make something like this possible. Ancient Egypt existed because of the Nile River. Without it, Egypt would be mostly desert. But every year, the Nile flooded and left behind fertile soil, making farming reliable. That reliability allowed villages to grow into cities and cities into a powerful kingdom. At the top of that kingdom was the pharaoh, seen not just as a king but as a divine ruler responsible for keeping order in the world. Below him was a structured government of officials, priests, soldiers, and scribes. Scribes were essential. They recorded taxes, tracked grain, and managed information across the entire kingdom. In many ways, they were the system that kept Egypt running. Most people were farmers. Their lives followed the Nile's cycle. When the river flooded and farming paused, that labor didn't stop. It was redirected into state projects like temples and pyramids. This seasonal workforce is one of the biggest reasons Egypt could build at such a massive scale. Religion also shaped everything. Egyptians believed in many gods, but most importantly, they believed in the afterlife. Death wasn't the end, it was a transition. To reach it, the body had to be preserved, leading to mummification and elaborate tombs. And that belief is directly tied to the pyramids. The pyramids were tombs for pharaohs, designed to protect the body and guide them into the afterlife. For a long time, people believed slaves built them, but archaeology shows otherwise. Workers were skilled laborers who lived in organized settlements, were fed by the state, and worked as part of a national project. Building a pyramid was an engineering challenge on a massive scale. Stones were quarried using copper tools and stone hammers. Some blocks weighed several tons. They were transported on wooden sleds pulled across the desert. Workers even poured water on the sand to reduce friction and make movement easier. The biggest mystery is how the stones were lifted. Most evidence suggests ramp systems, straight, spiraling, or zigzagging, that allowed workers to move stones upward as the pyramid grew. Stone by stone, layer by layer, the pyramid took shape. The most famous example is the Great Pyramid of Giza, built for Pharaoh Khufu. It stood about 146 meters tall and contained around 2.3 million stone blocks. It remained the tallest structure in the world for nearly 4,000 years. Think about that. One structure from the ancient world outlasting entire empires. But the pyramids are only part of the story. Ancient Egypt was also a highly advanced civilization in writing, medicine, engineering, and administration. They built temples, developed calendars, and created systems that kept millions of people organized. Everything worked because of coordination. The Nile provided resources, the government organized labor, and the workforce executed massive projects at the right time. When you put it all together, the pyramids stop being a mystery of how did they build this and become proof of what humans can achieve with planning, structure, and cooperation. Even today, they still stand in the desert, silent evidence of one of the greatest civilizations in history.